runs right in line with the forgiveness and the release.
Right. And
okay. So now we understand why some things keep going on in Jamaica, especially from high quarters. Chairman of the PSOJ, or whatever it's called, executive director, leader of the PSOJ, president of the PSOJ, Mr. Seaga, has described his request of the PNP thus. He says, I would never have thought that the request for a simple apology would elicit such a response. How is it simple to ask one human being to accept responsibility for the misdeed of another, show remorse for it, and express it publicly? Why would Mr. Mark Golding, on what basis could he say, I am responsible for this utterance of the man and I apologize for it? I am sorry to the DPP, to the women of Jamaica is who. How could he accept responsibility for that?
Something that he never do.
Something he didn't do. There's no indication that he was the man's mentor.
No.
There's no indication that he coached him into saying it.
So why would he apologize?
Why would he apologize for it?
Because rightly Mr. Golding has apologized for the joke he must run in terms of the dead people.
The dead people.
Yeah. So
there's nothing simple about it, Mr. Seaga. And the very fact that you would say that asking this man to accept responsibility for Mr. Buchanan's conduct, Mr. Buchanan is not his child.
But not only that, if he's going to do that, then be consistent.
But it tells me that when we get apologies from certain quarters, PSOJ being one, if I ever hear Mr. Seaga apologizing for anything, I will know that it is insincere. Because this request, this comment on his part, reflects a complete misunderstanding of why people apologize and the point of an apology. It is about accepting responsibility. And if you're not responsible,
but you know.
Now, what could Mr. Golding say? In the future, I will ensure that no member of my party does what, has what. How could he say that?
You can't do that. You can't take responsibility.
For something you can't police, you can't implement it.
You know, I think
nonsense.
to my, as if somebody would call it errant nonsense. But I think there's a bigger thing that is at work here. I saw it and I said, the script and the narrative is really being tried to be manipulated by different people to say, okay, now, if you look at it in a political thing, the PNP is on the up and up if you take anything with the polls. Right?
Yes.
You win or lose elections based on the money that you have. Those are established. PSOJ is a major thing, so they're going to say, how can we get Golding to... How can we get Golding to conform to our narrative? To
play ball with us?
Yes. You think that was a bigger thing that was being... Because I could not understand why...
No, I don't think it is, you know. I think about it and...
In his right
the
mind,
first thing is, that would mean that somebody set up ISAT to be foolish.
No, but... No, never set up ISAT to be foolish, but trying to use it.
Right. So there is the instinct naturally in this field to take advantage of whatever comes up and try to make it of use to you based on your agenda. But for this, the PSOJ is an organization that politicians court. They don't court politicians. They don't need to. The point you make about money being so instrumental in winning elections, private sector has money that it can apply to promote one or the other. So they don't need to court a politician. If the party is on one party is on the upswing and money wants to move over there, these things will move. In fact,
naturally.
Yes, it will happen naturally. But what I see is there is, of course, there are some institutions that believe they must have an opinion on everything.
It don't make no sense.
Whether their opinion is well-founded or not. And the PSOJ is one such institution. Isat Buchanan spoke. What he has said is so distasteful that you could easily denounce it and move on. But you now want to bring a political angle to it that makes no sense. And this is a PSOJ that where you might be right is that what they want to do, because they may be in good standing with the current leadership of the government, what they want to do is denigrate or diminish the party that is on the upswing, not wanting any change to the status quo.
So that
is one likely interpretation.
I'm thinking about it that way and saying.
So why are they speaking on this issue? It hardly needs their voice.
Yeah, because everybody has spoken and thing. And then the other, that's another thing.
They could have just denounced it and move on.
Just say we denounce it, it's unacceptable. And you needed to, you were looking at some definition for.
Misogynistic.
Yeah,
even calling it misogynistic makes no sense. It's funny, the other day someone had asked me what it meant to be woman hating. Yeah, discriminating against women, having an aversion towards women. But inviting a woman to engage in an activity with a man is hardly misogynistic. Because the tone, whether you like her or not, you are... so that's not misogynistic. All right, you will not hear it here.
Just a try.
No, but it's the same thing. When it's not the same as when someone is invited to do something with their mother. That raises a whole level of disrespect.
Yeah.
But this is inviting a woman to do something with a man.
Okay.
That's really what the comment. It's just lewd. That's it.
Lewd out of order.
Yeah, it's lewd. That's all it is. It's taking something personal and private and putting it
out in the public.
Yes. Yeah. Would she approve of someone saying that to her? No. So she wouldn't approve. That's why you say it. The idea is to try and embarrass her by dragging something. Yeah.
Yeah. It's unfortunate. Really.
There was that video with a child saying to a teacher, that's why you can't get no man. Now that is something that you could say is demeaning to the person's reputation, because the fact that it's a child takes the sting out of it. What does a child know? Child is just repeating some trash that they heard. But if you make a comment that suggests that a person's reputation or person is unacceptable or disgusting or undesirable, do you understand?
Yeah, I know. That's what they say.
Then that is a truly hurtful comment. But inviting an adult woman to do something with an adult man, that's just lewd.
And rude and cruel.
Yes. And the proper place to take it, he's a professional with a very able, active disciplinary body that already Chairman Dennis Kitson has gone on affidavit. That must be one of the fastest written affidavit, because the Gleaner has it and quoted from it in today's paper. They have already picked up the battle axe and put an application before the disciplinary committee of the GLC for him to be sanctioned.
Or you can't disbar somebody for that?
Well, depending on who is hearing it, they disbar for less.
Are you kidding me?
Of course, they disbar for less.
You serious?
Yes. The offense, the canon which they say he has breached is one affecting the reputation and dignity of the profession. Yeah. And depending on how it is argued, remember, I was saying that a comment like that from a lawyer who is charged with defending the rights of third parties, a comment like that could it would obviously injure his ability to adequately represent persons, because that is a whole heap of bad blood now, that especially when it starts to go into channels about being disrespectful to women and so on, and with so many women in the profession, the chair of the disciplinary committee is a woman. There's no place he can go and avoid women looking at him with disfavor. Even if he wanted a date, he would have to face.
You sure about that?
If he wanted a date?
Yes.
Nobody gonna be. You think women are delight in being around smutty mouthed men in public?
Word.
You might get a private date.
I just think it has changed,
Yeah, no, it hasn't changed that much. Think about your dog. Remember, we're talking about like professional women who are sensitive about appearances.
My sister, I'm not so sure anymore.
You're not so sure? Isn't
No,
it?
yeah, I'm
No,
not.
think about your daughter.
No, I'm
bringing.
talking about I'm saying, but I am not so sure anymore in terms of values that people put on themselves based on behaviors that you have observed from different people.
But at the very least, the comprehensive outcry should comfort you on this issue. You think it's a front? You think people are pretending to be offended by...
Hypocritical.
Yeah, that's true, but there is not one civil society segment that has not condemned him for what he has said. So who's going to be on his arm at the next fabulous Bar Association dinner? Think about it.
We'll see.
Well,
we'll see. We will see.
Who's taking him home to their parents?
We'll see.
I don't know. Maybe if he had... It all depends on the infraction, you know.
Yeah.
Depends on the infraction.
I'm just saying, I'm hearing the...
You know what is persuading me? When I'm around two men and the men are saying, women love us dirty. That's really what you're saying.
Yeah, because you've seen it in...
I know you're speaking. I know you're speaking about women you know. Excluding me. Because I'm telling you.
You would not?
No.
I know, but I'm saying to you, like, when I say you've spoken to...
The good women that you want to carry home. Don't want you speaking to them like that.
All right. Okay.
The good women that you want to take home.
Yes.
Nope.
Okay.
Maintaining it, although I see my husband looking doubtful and whistling. So he has things to tell me when we come off here.
It's unfortunate. The whole thing is very unfortunate. But what it reveals to me is what I call part of the underbelly, some things that not fit for airplay, that people have in their minds and so on. Yeah.
Yes, but we know that your thought life is something that the Lord polices with vigilance. He says, did you watch the video I sent you? Not yet.
Not yet.
Right. He says, I look at the heart of man. So it's what you're thinking and not doing.
Yes.
I know what you're thinking, but you didn't do it. Maybe you didn't have the courage. Maybe it wasn't dark enough. Maybe nobody would take you up on it. And you ended up not doing it. But I know what you really wanted to do.
Which is why Jesus went to that.
This is how he looks at us. So I take it. I know that the heart of man desperately wicked and many things are hidden in it. But we who speak about the circumcised heart and the transformed mind and the renewed man, we are speaking to persons who have the capability, with assistance of course, to shift from that place. And some of us may never have descended very far in the first instance. We are still desiring to have those individuals as our sons-in-law, as our sons, as our husbands, father-in-law, whatever it might be. So I don't accept. I believe that the outcry you're seeing is a genuine outcry from people who are appalled that such a thing took place. And you and I have been speaking into the atmosphere and provoking exactly this kind of response.
Yes.
Even the American government did their part by asking us to sanction someone as a diplomat who we couldn't possibly accept as a diplomat or the spouse of a diplomat, whatever the case might be. So we are now digging deep and pulling out the true values.
This is where I was going, because what it is revealing to me, that even with some of the underbelly that we see seeking to become real
mainstream,
people are saying, no, there's a pushback.
Yeah.
You know what that is saying to me? You know what it's saying to me? What is it saying?
No idea. Revival.
Right, man. Well, revival. people are saying the way that we're going something wrong, so we need to turn and shift.
Mrs. Kitson said, King's Counsel, she said, I watched the video and heard to my great alarm, Isat A. Buchanan repeatedly use profane language while referring to the DPP and attributing dishonorable conduct in an obscene manner to the Honorable Minister of Justice. This is from Denise Kitson, chairman of the GLC. So her affidavit has been filed. Apparently, he said things about the Minister of Justice. We didn't stay. I never heard that part. So the process before the GLC, for those who are putting it out there that the GLC already made a decision, the law requires you file an application, the papers are served on the attorney, they have 42 days in which to reply. So anyone who is repeating that the GLC did something already, that would be false. Mr. Buchanan has 42 days in which to respond. Thereafter, if his response is not satisfactory, it goes into a disciplinary hearing. Because it's on Twitter that something has happened.
Oh.
But there's a 42-day period by law that he has in which to respond.
So what has happened is, okay, careful in terms of what to say in any context.
You mean like
YouTube,
as attorneys?
YouTube, and anywhere you speak, it can be used against you.
Yeah. Well, professionals who are under a duty to be mindful of the dignity of their profession can find themselves on the wrong side of things if they are speaking all over the place and it gets repeated and so on and so forth. Freedom of speech is there, yes, but hurtful speech, I do not think hurtful speech will ever be countenanced.
Hurtful speech or hateful speech? There's a difference? There's a difference between hurtful and hateful.
Hurts. Hate hurts.
But, okay.
Hurt is the impact, meaning speech that has a certain impact. Hurt is just an impact.
Okay.
Hate is not an impact, you know.
I know that, but I raised that question because there is a case in Finland where somebody was quoting from the Bible in terms of what it says about homosexuality, and they've been jailed.
Yeah, because the fact that you're using somebody else's words and adopting it as yours don't change your intent. No, I know you say quoting from the Bible.
Yeah.
Take, for example, when one of your own, in what sounded like a prophetic flow, was condemning the Prime Minister and his house.
Yes.
Was he not jailed? Didn't you go and get him out of lockup?
But they arrested him.
Yes.
But they locked him. They arrested him.
Well, they didn't try him.
They couldn't try him because there'd be no...
There's no law, as perhaps in Finland, that creates a context for a trial. But the point I'm making is that you're taking the words of someone else and appropriating it to your own use with an intent. It doesn't matter that the source is the Bible. By the way, many things in the Bible that would get people in trouble.
Think a joke.
So let's just accept that to be so, and not because it is the Bible. See what my young man did is that those were not his words. He was quoting the lyrics of a song.
So if I'm preaching on a pulpit and I says the Lord says that homosexuality and the thing we quoted from 2 Corinthians, thee shall not inherit the abominable.
Yeah.
Be prepared to go to prison.
Where? In Finland?
And in other countries too, because they have hate speech.
Yes, the Bible was taken out of a certain library as being...
hate speech.
Yes.
Yeah. Ready? Yes, get ready. Get ready. We say it
some things you won't live long enough to see, but it's coming.
You mean in Jamaica?
Yeah.
Or in the rest of it? In some parts of the world, some did the law. So the question is, so you have it in terms of the law being a tool for good or bad. Is that true? Can the law be used as a tool for good and bad?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So should you fight for the law to be used in a just and fair way?
Should we fight for it?
Yeah, like in terms of if I'm sitting here and I'm helping to write laws.
Well, what you say is so obvious that I'm trying to understand why you've said it. Of course, we agitate
for good laws.
For good laws and for the law to be used in a just way.
Okay.
Yeah. But you had me thinking that there must be something else in your mind.
Oh, maybe that's...
Because take, for example, the death penalty. The death penalty must be used in a just way. It can easily be used unjustly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at, it was reported yesterday that the former president, democratically elected leader of what used to be Burma, what's it now, Myanmar?
Yeah.
Okay. There was a coup, I guess, and the country is now controlled by a military
junta.
You have to say junta.
Junta.
Yeah. So the militia, the military arm is in control of government. And because of a religious holiday, they of course, when they took power, they prosecuted, convicted, sentenced the former leader to prison. She got like 30-something years.
Yes.
They've reduced it to 27 years by reason of some
new laws,
religious holidays during which clemency is afforded a number of convicted persons. Do you know what she was arrested for? Breach of COVID-19 pandemic regulations. I'm not sure what the breach was. Sentenced to more years than she's likely to.
Because they want to keep her locked up.
They want to keep her locked up to prevent her from being a candidate in the elections which they have promised but have not called in 2 or so years. And I mean, another leader. So the law
has been used
unjustly to
silence your
yeah.
But that's what people normally do all the time. It's now.
But we complain of it right here in Jamaica.
So we are going to change that.
But you see, when I look at it, I thought, whoa. But then I said, at any time, that same military directorate can fall.
They always fall.
But I'm saying at any time, you're looking at the 27 years that she used to serve and you're thinking she won't make it, but she could be out in another month's time because there is God. Good note on which to take our break.
Always God.
Always God.
Best 100 FM is the authentic voice of Jamaica, promoting your prosperity with better vibes and better music. Let us promote your goods and services for you. Advertise with us. For more information, call our office at 876-276-8935. That's 276-8935.
This is your beloved Pastor Percy from the Morning Connection. Support our commitment to Jamaica by joining us on Wednesday mornings at 7:30 when we pray for the nation. Show us you care. Advertise with us. For more information, call our offices at 876-276-8935. Europeans taught us to hate our brothers and sisters. It's the African speaking.
Where are we?
Welcome back to the Burning Connection.
Why are you laughing, Percy? You have to explain.
I
require it.
I trust that we've been listening keenly to the discussions we've been having in regards to currently what is happening in our nation in terms of what has happened recently with Mr. Buchanan and the GLC and the PSOJ and the DPP and all of these different persons. But one thing that just comes clearly to me is the need for us to be consistent, fair, and just in terms of how we go about doing things. We must balance justice on both sides. We unequivocally reject what Mr. Buchanan did, but it looks like it has opened. It's not a can of worms, it has opened. It's Buchanan. It has opened, I think it has opened a can of worms.
Well, maybe not a can of worms, but it's just revealing things about the nation that are both positive and require caution.
Right.
It's very positive that so many have seen it as unacceptable behavior and have spoken against it.
This is right.
I think that's excellent.
That's why I'm saying it looks like we're ripe for something.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very
ripe.
That is an excellent sign, because a lot of times things are said and you know, for example, I told you that I believe words used by the Court of Appeal to describe me were demeaning.
Woman of business.
In quotes.
Yes.
In quotes. When you put something in quotation, and the judge who wrote it, another woman, she did not cite the source of her quotation. So I can't say that she had pulled it from X. She didn't say as per so and so. So it left in question in my mind
who you are.
Her perception of me. She was calling into question either my gender or my competence in a certain area or my ethics. Obviously, they were calling into question my ethics because of what they did. But the justification for it, because it's a court, it's not a gossip shop, it's not a place where people chew over, random bits of information and pick a personal course. So there we have a problem in how we speak of persons in a professional context. So it really was or is refreshing to see so many persons coming out and saying that way of speaking about persons is unacceptable. She's not your ex-girlfriend. She's not someone with whom one could say that's the nature of your relationship and you're speaking about what happened in your relationship. So it's far from anything nearing fact or truth. It's just a lewd comment offered gratuitously because it said nothing about his client, the business of his client, and he's a lawyer speaking in a context where his opinion was being solicited on his client's response.
Yeah.
So for him to say that, and I'm happy that Jamaicans came out in the way they did.
And I've said no.
So that's the positive side.
Yeah.
We said no, unacceptable, deal with it, and we see a mad rush to address it in some other ways. But then it also brought out some negatives now. For me, you can tell me what was negative for you. For me, the attempt to politicize it, drawing in Mr. Golding, asking Mr. Golding to accept personal responsibility and apologize.
That's something you don't know nothing about.
Yes. The revelation that the head of the PSOJ does not know what an apology is meant to do or what it is really, thinking that it is just something you do when you're caught.
But that's another concept that
that's
we
how
need
it
to
looked
debunk,
to me. Yes.
Yes.
So you did something wrong, and now he thinks that asking for a simple apology, he stepped into an ant nest, really. Apologies are not simple. Apologies are not perfunctory. For an apology to do its work, it must come from a place of sincerity and repentance.
You hear that? Say that word again. Sincerity and what?
Repentance.
Not remorse.
So, yeah, it's not just remorse, because you can be sorry for any number of reasons.
That's why I'm saying it.
Most notably that I was caught.
But that is,
yeah.
And even as we think about it, even from a pastoral perspective,
yes,
and working with people, you have to check to see if the person is really sorry
or
and
why they're sorry
and repentant.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times what happens is that, I'm sorry, so me get catch.
Yeah.
That's all.
You see somebody crying. It's not repentance. It's just regret that you've been caught.
You've been caught.
And sometimes embarrassment.
Yes, that is it.
Because now everybody knows that that's how you think and that's how you speak.
Yeah.
So that was a negative. Discovering that this is, but you know what? I view it as a positive too. So that one is kind of on the fence, because it's good to know that this is how people think. So when they come to you with it, you recognize it for what it is.
Yeah, that's true. So a lot of positives,
more positives
have come out of the whole thing, and the thing that strikes me is when we were going through DPP, Integrity Commission,
the Auditor General, those entrenched offices,
and those things, we were saying, all right, the recent impasse. Well, they say it's not an impasse between the call for the spouse of the American person to be
diplomatic privileges to be, yes.
It is saying to us as a country, what to stand for. What are you standing for? What you can't be passa all over
all
the place.
things to all men.
No, man, you have to make up your mind as to what you represent and what we're standing for.
Yeah.
And yesterday you spoke about Emancipation Plus One when we came back from thing in terms of going forward. What are the things that we want to put on the agenda in terms of where we need to be, where
what
we
the
need
new
to
priorities are. There's
are.
a letter in today's paper, Percy. Interestingly, it talks about emancipation and freedom. Very short letter, someone from New York writing to say that in his view, emancipation is more important than freedom. And it kind of...
It triggered something.
Yes, it made me think for a bit. But because you mentioned Emancipation Plus One, and that letter is there, the Gleaner obviously thought it fit to share these views with us. I thought I would say something about emancipation and freedom. Emancipation is a process. That's one of the things that I felt the letter didn't really emphasize so we could understand what he was saying. But we know that there is still the call for emancipation of the mind.
Right.
And the fact that the call is there means we are suffering from a mind that remains bound when the freedoms exist.
Right, so that is why in a song that we emancipate yourself from mental slavery, none but ourselves can free our mind.
Yes, yeah.
It's important.
Right. So this writer saying that emancipation is more important because emancipation, you can be free but not emancipated.
That's true.
I felt at this time that we're celebrating the freedoms as expressed under the Charter of Fundamental Rights and Freedoms.
Chapter 3 of the Constitution.
Which, by the way, that charter is only codifying what exists. You're born with your freedoms. So you have all these freedoms, but because you have not gone through a process of releasing yourself from whatever yoke of bondage, you can't walk in the freedom.
If you have not released yourself, it's appropriating what is yours in order to behave a certain way. So even though it is there, the behavior is not reflective of what is the reality in the mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a nice letter, touching on two things that are important. And the Emancipation Act, when slaves were emancipated, the process which the legislation described began with apprenticeship. So the process was like a slow release, which reading historical commentary on it, that process left both the slave and the slave owner confused. Because the human relationship that underpinned the economic relationship
was
couldn't make the adjustment. Yesterday, you were completely at my mercy, and today, you have rights. Yesterday, I could flog you if you just looked at me saucily, which, our eyes are made for saucy looking.
That's true.
Well, I tell you, when a black person turn them eye up at you
and look at
or purse their lips and we say choops. Yeah, when we say or roll the eyes.
Kiss your teeth. Kiss your
yeah,
teeth.
man, suck your teeth.
And you say that as Jamaicans.
Yeah.
Your child with you.
Even your children can give you that look.
And
so you understand that the expressiveness of our countenance made it very easy for somebody to take offense that you were not being sufficiently servile. So imagine, today I can treat you this way, and tomorrow I now need to recognize that you are a human being with rights, and that how you roll your eyes. And so as a consequence, the stipendiary magistrates, do you remember learning about them? That's why, in my more radical moments, I say that the magistrates, courts, and so on, Jamaicans should just
throw it out.
Delete that.
It's not become the parish courts,
and create, yes. But same building. You see, it's the same confusion they went through with emancipation. Because emancipation set a process for both the slave owner and the slave to adjust to the new reality.
That's what apprenticeship should have done.
And that was apprenticeship. Apprenticeship said for the major part of the day, 40 hours, you continue to work on the plantation as apprentice. Remember, your job, you were the one doing it. So what are you learning in your old job? So you're an apprentice for 40 hours. And for another 13 and something hours, was your own time. And if you worked there, they had to pay you, or you could withdraw and do whatever you want.
Right. And most people withdrew.
But it was confusing for both sides. How do I calculate what should be paid? And, the slave who was not known for numeracy yesterday, today he must calculate
how much massa owe me? How much massa golden owe me?
So can you imagine now, a dishonest slave owner would say, how much do I owe you?
5 shillings, sir.
So you must calculate your own, and they pay you. It was confusing. I could just see it being played out. And the tensions rose, and the slaves were just now thinking they were free, start to, manifest. Absolutely. And the magistrates were busy because now the planter can't beat you. It's the magistrate have to beat you.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because you're no longer chattel. So he can't beat you as he feel a man. So that was the process of emancipation for Jamaicans. Did we learn anything from that process? Did that process prepare us to act in our freedom?
I think we learned a lot from it.
About what?
Of how to maintain the plantation economy.
But it sounds like the planters learned more.
Yeah.
Because they now would have been well motivated to continue treating the workers
at minimal wages, which is what we're seeing.
Yes. And we see that it continues today.
Even today, right. even in terms of how Mr. James was interdicted, I don't even look at it some far thing from when
I want to find them. I'm hoping I can meet somebody or that it's in the public domain where you can search down these old standing orders which are coming from colonial times, such that a man speaking today could be brought up on disciplinary charges because in his own time, he spoke in a way which the High Command feels undermined their authority. Are they so fragile?
Yeah, because...
Is the authority so frail and vulnerable?
Yesterday, on Tuesday, when Michael Abrams spoke, he wrote about it. He wrote about it, and he said he stands in solidarity with Ron James, which I think is so very important in terms of saying, well, you tried, and thing. Because what he said, the courts have ruled, says the High Command needs to do what they need to do, and they said that was disrespectful.
A ruling has come out already on it?
No.
The overtime.
The overtime issue was settled by the courts. The Ministry of Finance have said, we've set up the system and how it's going to be paid. So the ball is in the High Command.
And they are waiting on the High Command. And them say, but wait too long.
From April, May.
But I want to know, what is wrong with someone saying, I will not be intimidated, I will not be bullied, I will continue to fight to the best of my ability for my people, essentially.
That's what he did.
How does that undermine the authority of High Command? Is High Command so vulnerable and fragile in their sensibilities that a man speaking strongly on his position would cause them to lose?
To quake in their boots?
Well, they may quake in their boots, but how would it cause them to lose the respect of the men they command? They've already lost it.
Already, because obviously you're not paying the people. So I'm just saying it's a knee-jerk reaction. It is an army-type reaction.
The PSOJ should have spoken out against it.
But you think they would speak out? No. Why would they speak out about that?
I'm looking. They should have spoken against it because they themselves must show the sensibility, a greater sensibility to the cause of workers, if not just like Queen Vashti's disrespect, it might spread.
Well, that is a principle in scripture. They were right in regards to it, but in today's day and age, you can't deal with people. Remember Terror X versus Terror Y in terms of how you deal with people.
With people, yes.
It's 8:30, and we take our 8:30 break. And when we come back, we have a surprise for you in the house. And not you? No, we have a surprise.
It's a surprise. Good morning and welcome back. You are with the Morning Connection, coming to you live from the Beginning Club in the heart of New Kingston, Jamaica, Minette and Percival. And now we have some friends in the house. First, I did promise a surprise, and I hope we will deliver when you hear the accent. We went to the motherland after all. They're celebrating independence and emancipation. So we went to Africa and brought 2 friends. Hello, Christopher and Augustine.
Hello.
So we brought 2 friends. Right. Yes, they're friends.
Sure.
2 brothers. 2 brothers.
Exactly.
Yes. So these 2 gentlemen who are with us, and I'm just going to pronounce the names, but I call them Christopher Orumba.
Exactly.
And Augustine Kamba. Yes. Took me some time to get the accent in the right place. Of course, you know, we came to Jamaica and got all kinds of names. So I am Minette, Percival, and the surnames are very British.
British?
Yes. Or German, whatever it's the case might be. Depending on, absolutely. We're pleased to welcome them because our paths intersect. Let me just put myself in the picture. They are my colleagues from the Caribbean Law College, or Law College of the Americas. Let's put it that way. The Law College of the Americas, it's a little known educational institution located in New Kingston on Grenada Crescent, founded by Dr. Velma Brown. And it is a college which specializes in offering certain type of training, and we're going to go into that. I recently started lecturing at the college and thought this little known secret in Jamaica should be shared with as many as possible. So, for those who have young ones or not so young ones who have completed high school and are looking to kickstart their career in one direction or another, there are courses being offered. And I wanted Christopher and Augustine to have a chat with us. But we're going to take them beyond that because we can't have 2 Africans in the house and we only talk about school. So, who's starting first? Christopher?
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for inviting me here. Like she said, I'm Christopher Orumba. That's the pronunciation of the name, Orumba. I'm going to explain, the meaning of the name later in the program. Yes. Well, as the program coordinator of the Law College of the Americans, Law College is all about training, teaching, and learning in law courses. We have various law courses mapped out, short courses, wonderful ones that will help you kickstart your legal profession. Like she introduced, those who are current school leavers, talking about the high school leavers, we have programs you can do on scholarship without paying anything, just come. The courses include, talking about current high school leavers, we have the paralegal studies. Paralegal studies will teach you on the working of legal profession, the practical aspects on how to draft legal documents, contracts, agreements, name it, and at the same time showing you relevant documents you need to present in any situation you find yourself. For example, you may like to work in a law firm and your boss, your attorney at law, will ask you to draft a divorce, assuming there's a petition. Exactly. So how do you go about it? That's actually what we're going to teach you at the Law College of the Americans. The relevant documents you need to know and where to find them, especially the court you need to go and derive whatever claim you want to file.
So for the paralegal course, you are preparing persons to enter at whatever level of work they can get in a law office. But there are also diploma and degree courses, or how deep does the training go?
Okay, yeah, we have diploma and associate degree programs for current high school leavers, like I said.
Yes.
But for others, we have courses like we also offer LLB, of course, for those who really want to
full degree.
Full degree LLB. Then certificate programs, like those who are working already, current workers. You want to improve your knowledge in the legal profession, you come in, you will get executive certificate programs like understanding simple writing in contract and all that.
Yes.
So at the same time,
I'm looking at the list of some of the certificate programs. It might be easier to just, you have introduction to cybersecurity. That's a big deal right now.
Yes.
With so much going on online. You have introduction to information technology.
Yes,
and I'm going to give Augustine an opportunity because I know he's the technology man.
Yes.
What are we trying to accomplish with these training courses? What are we trying to accomplish?
Okay, what we are trying to accomplish is to equip young learners, school leavers, and also
working professionals.
We need to equip them with latest technology, the know-how.
So digital literacy in the workplace.
Digital literacy is part of digital literacy, and it's a more advanced form of digital literacy because it's beyond the basic computer knowledge. It is more like the cybersecurity. It's about securing devices and people
and networks
from
breach. I said
from a lot of danger.
From breach.
From breach.
Yes.
Yes. Data theft. Mostly important for data theft.
And in a law office, that becomes of primary importance given the confidential nature of what lawyers do.
Yes. And now with the new data protection act that is coming on stream in Jamaica, everybody has to be very, very aware. Because with the law, you have to have somebody who is designated for the company.
Yes.
To be in charge of those things. So, like these certificate courses, how long do they run?
The certificate courses, they run from 2 months to 6 months, depending on
2 to 6 months. Can you do it online or you have to be in person at the college?
You can do it online, you can do it in person.
It's convenient.
At the learner's convenience.
Okay.
That's a good thing in today's world, at the learner's convenience. But you stipulate that you have to finish it in a certain time, you say 2 to 6 months. Is it learning as you're going along, or you have to finish in a certain period of time?
Or it's kind of modular?
The program is flexible,
right?
I would say. It's flexible. You are expected to finish at a particular time.
Okay.
However, some persons or some learners may tend to finish earlier.
Okay. So you might finish later, but there's a set period to complete this program of study.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, what I'm hearing, when you and I reviewed that study which was done on the education sector by Professor Patterson, one of the things he mentioned was the need for education to be put in some kind of modular capsules so persons could consume at their convenience at their pace, and it would be better for working people.
Yes, that is why the Law College of America, we have a system, the learning management system, and we have these courses in chunks. We chunk them so that the learners can learn at their own pace.
At their pace and
convenience. So it's not something that should be stressful, especially the working class. They come back from work and they'll be tired and so they at their own convenience. They can just go in there and get the lectures and see the lessons and the materials or resources to aid their studies.
In addition to that, the courses are designed for you to finish it at your pace. So once you are done with the courses, no problem, we can award you the certificate.
And you're tested and
yes, you're tested exactly. Yes,
I can speak to the efficiency of the process.
The efficiency of the process.
And it works for the lecturers too, because you can lecture from wherever you are in the world.
Boy.
Yes. As long as the time zone permits it.
To do that, right. But what is interesting is that the courses, all the programs, are licensed by the Ministry of Education.
Sure.
And accredited by the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, which is important.
Yes.
If you don't want to be, all right, come and join, and so
when you go with your certificate,
so where this come from?
Exactly.
So that's important. So it's accredited, it's licensed, and accredited by the Jamaica Tertiary Education Commission, which is very important.
Yes, in addition to that as well, we are also seeking approval from University Commission.
University, that. UCJ.
Yes. So
that's important. That is very important.
All right, I'm looking at one or two of the courses, and I'm thinking you have one that's called, this is the certificate program now,
okay.
That's called Client Relations in Legal Service. I love what that sounds like, but tell me what it really is.
Yeah, because we discovered that many clients don't really have that knowledge on how to deal with their professionals, talking about lawyers now. So now this particular program, of course, will offer the client the knowledge on how you deal with your lawyer or your attorney at law and what is required of you, the confidentiality, be assured that any information you divulge to you review to your attorney at law is well preserved, cannot be divulged. And at the same time, your own obligation to your attorney and the attorney's obligations to you as a client. It's a short program that can be done maximum 3 months or even 1 month.
Yes.
Flexible within 2 weeks. It depends
on the time you allocate to it.
So this is targeting the client or the lawyer?
Both as well, yes.
Oh,
so it's open to
anyone
in the relationship. So
if I want to know my lawyer to treat me, I can do that course.
You could do the course.
Sure.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you train trainers?
Sure, we do that, of course.
Yeah.
Yes, we offer that program. Currently, by September next month, we have received some interest from some institutions that want us to train their staff for them now
to train others. I love it. I want to ask you about the comments made by Mr. Buchanan. I'm going to assume a well-trained graduate of your college who know how to speak. And I'm going to trouble you with that. Yes, the executive certificate programs, and so just for your information to those who are interested in maybe contacting the law college, there are certificate programs, executive certificate programs, the diploma programs, and the associate degree programs. So I'm looking at some of the executive certificate programs. There is an introduction to anti-money laundering practice and procedure.
Exactly. I think
How did that one come about? Because that is so necessary.
Sure. Yeah. Like in Jamaica now, we know very well that the government has asked, in fact, it's now mandatory for all attorneys at law to know the source of their client funds before dealing with them and all that. So I think this program, this course now has positioned clients and attorneys at law come and know how you can go about knowing dealing with this anti-money laundering
regime
practice, because I learned that some attorneys criticize this judgment by the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council. But if you look at it in the other way, it's another way to also help the system, help the economy, help the government.
Yes.
But we're not asking the attorneys to do the work of the security. The law enforcement agency and all that.
Right.
To start investigating and all that. But just simple information, data collection, you can,
They know your client
exactly from your client, you know where and all that.
Yeah. I like it because it seems to me that even a business person who wants to be sure they're on the right side could enroll for one of these courses. Let's see, there's also an introduction to fiduciary, company, and trust. I look at the courses and I can see a very progressive move towards preparing professionals in the economy, in the space, for what's happening now. I'm going to take it to Nigeria.
No problem.
How comparable is all of this to what you are accustomed to back home?
Okay, I think in the first place, Nigerian legal system is almost the same thing with Jamaican legal system. We are still under the common law system. So, the law over there is evolving the same way here. Nigerian government has come up with series of governmental policies like this as well, and to ensure that persons are doing the right thing at the right time. Lawyers there now are even trying to, because most of the lawyers who were trained in the old legal system, so they're still trying to adjust, because each time government comes up with a new policy because of what is happening in the world, in the globe, definitely lawyers must adjust. Not just only lawyers, every other person must adjust. So basically, in summary, I think the common law system in Nigeria is exactly what we see here. There's not much difference.
From the British Empire. Augustine, I know that your expertise is in the area of technology. How are we incorporating technology into the training courses to make this transition easier?
Okay, we have a built-in system that the college has made it possible to have a blended mode of learning. We call it blended learning, where the students can learn face-to-face or via using technology to learn, and also have in-class, depends on the learner's mode of learning, our preference, I would say. So the college has equipped all these technologies and put it in place so that learning will be easy. I just want to summarize everything, that learning will be easy. All these have been put in place.
Yes.
Not just put in place, they are already in place.
And tested.
Learners. So,
yes, you made me test some of it.
Yeah, I
You can make her do something, right? And she
They're Africans. They're my people. What did you say to the white lady who told you to sweep the room? What if the Africans said, yeah, I do.
No, but there's a question I wanted to ask you. You pointed, so you have certificates, executive, diplomas, associate, LLB?
Yes, delivery program.
And you are associated with university in terms of accrediting that program.
Okay, we have a partnership with two universities,
which is
running. We have one with UCC running, of course.
Yes.
It's another one again with another university.
Okay. All right. So I like it. I really love what you're doing.
So is it affordable? Can Jamaicans just call and sign up?
Yes. First, it's very interesting to know that our associate degree programs are the cheapest. Talking about those who are not current high school leavers, but for current high school leavers, a scholarship is free. Unlike other institutions that still offer the same program, they still charge them, select amount. But we don't charge anything. It's purely 100%.
If you're a high school and you have an interest in law, you can approach.
And this is under the government. What's it called? That sixth form
pathway. Okay, pathway.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, exactly.
So somebody leaving from high school who has an interest in law, getting their results in August 24, that's when it's coming out to CXC, and they want to think of a career in law, they can come to you.
They can apply now. They can apply now. Okay. It's ongoing. Just go ahead and apply now.
Yes.
Because we are beginning September. Then it's definitely free, like I said.
Yes.
Person come in and train. You move on with your career. So then for others who are not current high school leavers,
right?
Yes, our tuition fee is still the cheapest, as low as 110,000 Jamaican dollars for diploma program. Then for the associate degree is 165,000 per annum for the associate degree program.
It's affordable.
It's affordable.
It is.
And you have payment plans.
Yes, exactly. Yes, basis. Yes.
Okay. Excellent.
And the requirement for you to apply is also simple. For the associate degree, you have like a minimum of 5.
60.
Yes. So 5 subjects. Then diploma, minimum of 2 subjects. but English has to be there.
That's important.
Yes.
That's really important.
Then for the executive certificate programs, all you need is just a proof that you are a current worker, that you're working
have
in
a job.
Exactly. So that's all.
Yeah.
So you will be trained.
Yeah, well, I was trying for some time to bring my colleagues from the college here because having seen what they do, I felt it's an opportunity for Jamaicans. They're a bit on the shy side. I got them here on short notice. With the producer's permission, I will invite you back because as we get closer to September morning, that's when, the school you really wanted to hasn't responded, the thing you had in place didn't come, and a lot of persons have to make decisions under the gun. What is important is no Jamaican young person with the desire to learn should have zero options.
Sure.
And I
so this
think,
is another option.
this is a great option.
For them.
Yeah. How marketable are we internationally?
I think we've got some, actually the most problem we're having with international students is most of them would like to come over, but these traveling
And the
restrictions and all that.
yeah.
So that's the issue. But we have a good number of them who have applied. Some also have been accepted and all that. And also some have paid, of course, their payment.
But isn't it, for those foreign students, they can do it online.
Exactly,
Because there's no requirement to be on campus.
But you know that some of them would like to come to Jamaica.
They want to come to Jamaica. I want to go to Jamaica.
The beaches.
Interaction with Jamaicans, not just
But they can come for exams.
Come to
They can
Jamaica.
come for exams. We could say one visit is mandatory. I appreciate your taking the time to come. I know that, you kept asking me, where is it? It's good that you made it. I do want to, in the remaining minutes, how are you, how long have you been in Jamaica? How are you adjusting? Are you loving it? What's going on?
Wow. First of all, the story I heard about Jamaica is different ball game. What I heard before coming here is entirely different from what I have seen.
Oh.
Yes.
So what you heard?
Good?
The story I heard was, the normal, don't go there, is this, shooting, But I've been loving people, nothing.
You just want to come back to our program.
I don't see anything like that because they are nice people and I have friends here as well. And interestingly as well, same atmosphere you see here, same atmosphere you see in Lagos, Nigeria. Of course. So if there's crime here, there's more crime over there. There's no country that is without crime. There's no country. So I think.
Do you feel as if you're at home?
Exactly. I see my people, see our food here, the nature, the weather, the sunshine, everything, same thing. So it's like I'm at home.
And you've been here more than a year?
Like 2 years.
2 years?
2 years, yes. So.
Well, Augustine is new. Let's hear. How has it been?
The experience is just a home away from home.
Yeah.
And
Away from home.
Yeah, a home away from home, and I have the opportunity to go to beach.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah, without
one good thing about the Jamaicans, I just love them. Just like we Africans, we Nigerians, we love our country. I see the passion Jamaicans of their country, the flag, the music, on a daily basis. And I see the hospitality, especially we Africans, where we are received. Not just Africans, but everybody around the world, globally. When visitors come to Jamaica, you see that warm reception. Warm reception, different from what you heard.
Well,
Different from what you heard.
Sure.
Wake up.
Sometimes you read something online, you see a lot of online negative things about the country, discouraging you from coming. But when you come, you've seen there's nothing like that.
All right. Well, one of our listeners online is saying, enough respect and welcome to the African guests. All right, we're going to take our break. It is what, 9 a.m.? Yep, 9 o'clock. We'll take the break. Please don't go away. We still have guests in the house. Be polite.
Stick around.
We need to do.
All right, welcome back. We're having fun here because when you have two persons from Nigeria, and we know that a lot of Jamaicans came from Nigeria, you get into all kind of discussion about tribe and, how do you recognize which tribe and things that we don't know about ourselves. So we're kind of pulling from the guys here. And at least I know. Percy, what's your tribe again? Did you get the name? Oh no, yes. Did you get the name? Because you and I are the same tribe.
No.
Yes? Yoruba.
No, he didn't say that. No, he's Igbo. That's why he's
Delta.
You are the Yoruba. You look like Yoruba tribe. Yes.
Right? So can I tell you something? We have the same. My maiden name, Palmer. His surname, Palmer.
Yeah. Palmer doesn't sound African.
It's not African at all. But what it means is that however our ancestors were named when they came here, more likely than not,
there must be a link.
There's a link, same plantation, same, yeah. They're more likely than not. So it's interesting that my tribe, similar, despite all the contamination of the gene pool, because Jamaica's motto, out of many one people, represents the fact that there's German blood and European blood and Indian blood.
In one person?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like my mother's grandmother was from India, but on the maternal side, and on the paternal side, they were from Germany. And yet there's Africa. So, and I think Lowell has some similar mixed, same for Percy. So when you look at the yellow in the skin, it's coming from
Western France.
Odd places. Is it the same in Nigeria? The yellow in your skin, the source of it?
No, it's not from that.
It's from the river.
We have the yellow people, of course. We have the Delta area.
Mm-hmm. And it's not European blood that made it.
Oh, actually, they had earlier contacts with the West. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they had earlier contact with the West. Of course, they did.
Yeah, they did.
Yes. Yeah, they did. Of course.
I think naturally, the Igbo people, the Eastern people of Edo, they have that light skin. And amongst the African nations, if you go cross-check the Negroid region, you notice that the Igbo people has a different kind of texture of their skin.
Mm-hmm. But the origin of it is what I'm referring. Yeah. I won't press you too hard. We know where that comes from because travel across the world is ancient.
Yes.
And apparently, Congress between the races is also ancient.
Yes.
Wherever men and women meet, there is a tendency for children to be born.
But interestingly, they've said in the Caribbean, and they kind of did a move from island to island and say it started all the way back from that side, from Africa, which they say is the cradle of civilization as we know. So somehow they were able to travel and move across. It's interesting.
Sure. We're saying romance is international and ancient.
Yes, it is.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
Of course, and like the Sahel areas,
right.
The Negroes as in dark skin, they're kind of similar. Sometimes they do intermarry.
Okay.
And when these intermarriages occur, you are bound to have this texture changes and probably transmutation. I don't want to use that word, but it's just a new form of two coming together. They produce something new.
Create something. Yeah. All right. So you are at the college now, having come to Jamaica. Did you come to Jamaica specifically to work in the field of education, or is it a coincidence or just change of plans?
I don't want to delve into that area, but I came here to pursue my master's. I completed that.
And fell in love.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. See? Love blue.
If you fell in love, with Jamaica. Or with a Jamaican lady. Which one of them it is? That's what you need.
No, I'm not. I don't need to ask him that. This man is a marriage counselor. He performs weddings and funerals.
Maybe I'll come for that.
He's better than I on this.
No.
You're in the area of technology. You're also lecturing. You both lecture at the college. What are the areas that you are teaching?
Yeah, for me, I'm into international public law, anything public law, criminal, constitution, admin, human rights, and the rest. Those
are your areas,
interests,
right?
Yes.
So those of you who want to be taught by an African, you hear all the courses, so you know what to do. What about you, Augustine?
So I'm into IT and
Yeah.
tech. So for those who want to do information technology, web development, app development, and cybersecurity.
App development, cybersecurity.
The IT space has
Yes.
so much, and we are introducing new courses as
required. Yeah, I can tell you in my experience, one of the courses that I taught, we did a marriage between the technology piece and the legal, academic aspects of it. And this is something sorely needed in the profession, where you're getting professionals coming into the office who understand the technical, academic areas, but they can use the technology.
Yeah.
That is what makes money in a law firm, to be able to use the technology as it is required and built to make everything easier, from creating your files to pulling up your invoices, recording time, billing, everything with time management and invoicing.
One thing that IT does is to make your work efficient and easy.
Easier, yeah.
So that's why we use
All right, well,
You spend less as well.
of course, that's part of the efficiency you save on the expense of running the office.
So how do we contact you at our college? We've been talking over the air. What is the number to call, or where is the college situated?
The college is just right here behind.
No, it's not right here.
Grenada Crescent.
Grenada Crescent,
Yeah.
2 to 6.
Grenada Crescent.
Yes, and the contact phone number is 806 5052. I repeat, 806 5052. Definitely one of our receptionists will attend to you and give you the guide, whatever. Then, if you want to apply, just go online to www.lca.edu.jm. lca.edu.jm. So you apply there, and application will be attended to. You'll be accepted. Then you join the September batch.
Right.
And you can study in person or online.
Online, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
That's beautiful. All right, thank you, St. Christopher and St. Augustine. What's with the Saint names, by the way? Last question, I promise.
Good.
What's with the Saint name? And you were going to tell me about Orumba.
Yes. I hail from a Christian family background. So I just grew up and saw that my name is Christopher. Do I still have my native or African name?
Yes.
What's your
Chinedum.
Chinedum.
God leads me. Anytime you hear or see Chi in Igbo land or Nigeria, it means God. Chi represents God. In Africa, we like to associate God to everything we do.
Okay.
So that's why you see almost all the African children being named with one godly
same name
attached them on the other.
Yeah.
So that's it. So
you're Chinedum.
Chinedum. God leads me.
And does he?
Of course it does.
Yeah, Chinedum.
All right, tell me about the Orumba part.
Yoruba simply means 20 communities.
So your father owns 20 communities?
Well, as
You're king of 20 communities?
great grandfather was a royal, and
He was a king.
yes, royal. There's something we call Nze. Nze is a chieftaincy title given to distinguished, honest, and integrity people in the community. So he was one, and his first son as well, who happened to be my grandfather,
Yes.
was also an Nze.
Okay.
So, and Nze, people are known to live long. He
Okay.
lived almost 125 years.
125.
Your
Your grandfather.
grandfather.
And also my grandfather, 125 years. because of, according to
Jamaica.
according to them, integrity and honesty, according to them. So
long life.
Yeah, exactly. So the Orumba now simply means 20 communities, and of course my family is an extended one, so large.
Okay.
So that's the meaning. So I
You're from River Plate.
Sure.
River Plate.
River State. River State.
Yeah.
No, River Plate is in Haiti.
All right,
River State. Yeah.
With the PSO, they asked me to apologize for you. Oh, well, how do you chop that down? Augustine, St. Augustine.
Similar. Actually, I was named after my grandfather from my mother's side, so Christian from the north, and that's how I happened to, get that name, Augustine. However, my native name, so to speak, is Chukudi.
Chukudi.
Yes, but it's shortened. And you can just say Chuku, and it means Chukudi means
there is God.
There is God. Sometimes you can add a Chukudima, Chukudupu, things like that. So, Chukudi, yes. So, and the Kamba itself is it means great wrestler.
Great wrestler.
Yes.
Why?
Actually, my grandfather used to be a great wrestler and also a king. How do I put it? We call it Eze-G, a king farmer. So he has this big farm that has to do with yam. He has all sorts of yam, yellow, white, short, big, and there's one we call the Ada of the yam. So he has this large farm, and he had that title given to him as Eze-G Okamba. So,
are these inherited titles? So your father, your grandfather got it?
Yeah, my grandfather.
Right. So does it pass to the son, or he has to earn his own title?
The son has to earn his own title as according to
as required.
Yeah. You have to earn it. You have to earn it. So if you and the title is not transferable.
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah,
no, not transferable. Where I come from, we have this kind of semi-democratic kind of rule.
Yes.
So leadership doesn't pass to the son or the family. No, it passes to the next capable person that is accepted for that
by the community.
By the community.
Wow. So a lot people learn from these guys.
Well, interestingly, where we come from, we've just lost it on the way.
From what you were saying about the farm stuff, traditionally in those days, a wealthy man used to be known on your wealth on the farm.
Yeah.
The kind of the farm produce.
Food.
Exactly. And that's why Africans were marrying more than one wife then, because the idea was more wives, more children to help in the farm.
Okay.
Build the economy.
That was the idea.
And that's to take care of all of that.
So the larger the family, the
there's a kind of
efficiency
of
getting work done.
So there's a competition then on number of barns of yam you could produce. So if you can get up to 100 barns of yams, you're a wealthy person. So that's it.
And not just that. Sometimes you see a family where from one parent they have like 11 children,
15,
all healthy, alive, and doing well. And sometimes you ask yourself why. It's just because of this whole farm setting. We have this farm, and we need to increase the number.
When we're off air, I'll say something about that, because like right now in our post-colonial state, I worry and have conversations with pastors a lot about the $0 value on that we try to maintain on labor. Because we want to have an economy where we're not paying wages. The people are apart, they live, they eat, you look after them, but you don't lose money paying out wages. If they're called children, we achieve the same effect.
Before you go,
we'll talk about that.
This product that here, which is
pounded yam.
Pounded yam.
Yes.
You're requesting some?
Yes, we have pounded yam, we have fufu, which is apple. We also have gari. That one is done with the cassava flavor, yeah.
Are you cooking anything here? I mean, this Independence? Do we have enough yam to meet your standards?
Definitely, I would have loved, but I've not seen any African dish, as in when I mean African, I mean an African restaurant here in Kingston. One I saw last time was in Motigo Bay when I moved there.
Isn't that a business idea for you to bright young men? All right. Back to the law college. All right. Let's end on just repeating some of the critical information about law college. Easy to get into. What are the eligibility requirements again?
Yes, the minimum requirement is 5 subjects for associate, 2 subjects for diploma, and it's for everybody. Provided you can read and write, it's for everybody.
And the compulsory subject in all this?
Yes, of course, English.
Yes. Not math or economics.
For the IT,
yes.
You need mathematics. And it's easy because part of what you also learn is mathematics. When you are coding, you have to do with numbers.
So you teach coding? There's one in the course? Okay, that didn't come out.
Yeah, no, it's not listed there.
Yes.
Yeah, so, but in the course.
There are elements of it?
Yes.
Okay. Is it such that the students have to worry about the quality pass they have in math, or you do supplemental teaching to bring them up?
Yes, we do supplemental teaching. So the masses that they need to pass according to the requirements of the education board.
Right.
They need to pass their maths.
Yes.
So we also do supplementary mathematics because we also have mathematics. There's one we call discrete mathematics that you have to undergo in the area of IT. But as for the web development, is more of a professional certificate, so that may not really be required. But however, you also learn about numbers.
Yes, you have to.
Yes.
Understand the numbers.
Yes.
All right. For school leavers, how does it apply now to high school leavers? Because I gather the door is wide open, sort of.
So
for those on the path.
Yes, they come through the sixth form pathway program, so that's why it is free for them. Those who are waiting their CX results or grade, they should also apply. I learned that the results will be coming out soon. Good. They should also apply. Then once their grades are out, they can send us their grades and fall into September. They just go apply. Very simple to apply. The application folder or the platform is simple.
Is there a registration fee?
For
I just
now,
saw,
we want to carry everybody along. We don't want everybody. We don't want somebody who say that you couldn't
afford the registration.
Yes. Actually, there's a fee of 3,000.
Yes.
But that should not be a problem. You can afford
but
it
if
now.
a waiver is required,
yes,
you're
we
open
can
to
wait
it.
for you.
All right. Okay.
So as for the sixth formers, once you go to the website to apply, you will see a link that is specifically made for sixth formers.
We'll go on to the sixth form program.
Sixth form program. They can apply from that end.
Okay.
Yes. However, if there's any error in applying, they can always call to
Rectify it. Yes. For those who cannot access application form, we also give them room to submit physically, come to the office and drop whatever they have, their company certificates or documents. So bring everything along. We can assist you in doing the application.
So the idea is making it as easy as convenient as possible.
Everybody.
Just want everybody to have an opportunity.
Nobody should be left behind.
Yes. So, and the location is 226 Grenada Crescent in New Kingston. Let me repeat the phone number. It's 876-806-5052. I got it? Yes. And you can email admissions@lca.edu.jm.
Sure.
And of course, there's a website, www.lca.edu.jm. I love the work you're doing.
Thank you so much.
Sounds a bit self-serving. I'm close to the work you're doing, but it's a good college, guys. Check it out. If you have anyone who's leaving high school now and they're looking for a way to start, the professional services industry always a good place for an entry-level job. I think better than the food services industry, better hours.
It depends on what you want to be in food services.
Yeah, we need to add here as well.
No, for entry-level job.
Yeah, we need to add here as well that once you complete this program, if you want to move to job, you'll get job immediately, because we have law firms, institutions calling us on daily basis.
Yeah, we're waiting list.
Yes,
Yeah.
if we have trained some paralegals for them to employ. So
No, you're absolutely right about that. The demand is always high, always high for good paralegal support. And one of the things too is these skills can transfer anywhere in the Commonwealth.
Exactly. And you can work from home if you want to. If you have the skill, you can work from anywhere.
Yeah.
You can.
You know, one set of students that I had, I could see them starting to form a firm in there. Yes, because some of the assignments they got required them to think about, how to meet. And it's so easy to be, you work from home and you have several clients instead of just one law firm.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's an interesting time for persons to get trained in any of these areas. Thank you, St. Christopher and St. Augustine.
It's a pleasure.
I hope you enjoyed the independence celebrations
in
Jamaica.
Last year, I didn't get
Didn't do
to
anything.
but this time around, I prepared myself.
And you have company, you have another saint to walk with.
Yes, so definitely we are going on. I learned that the celebration will be done in the stadium, National Stadium.
Yeah, the gala.
I'll be there.
Yes.
You got your tickets already?
The ticket?
You need to get a ticket to
Oh, really?
I can get it there.
I don't know. I usually watch it on TV.
It's free, but they still ticket because it's not free.
The numbers.
The numbers.
Okay.
So where are the tickets, first of all?
Where can we?
Where can they get tickets?
Phoenix Avenue, Social,
STC?
not SDC, what's the other one? JCDC. Community Cultural Development.
Please remember they're guests in our country. Are you volunteering to get 2 tickets? No. We bring it up.
I'm just telling them.
Yeah.
I'm just telling them.
So let me tell you how the locals do it. Most of us, because Grand Gala is in Kingston and Jamaica is Jamaica, we set up some nice cooking at home and we watch it on TV.
Yeah, but they want to go, they want to feel it, right?
Exactly.
Well, please help them with the ticket.
Because back home, we go out to that very large one.
Yes.
Feel the everyone
atmosphere.
is chanting, singing the national anthem.
Yeah,
and
everyone back
everybody.
home, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a free for all thing. You're happy.
You both live in Lagos? Or?
Port Harcourt.
Oh, that requires another 10 minutes. We'll do it up here.
What did you say?
Port Harcourt.
Okay, we're taking our 9:30.
Yes, Port
Harcourt.
Oh, yeah. Funny enough, it was named after a British Harcourt.
Yes,
we know.
that's not a Nigerian name. All right, we're going to take our break and have more fun with our guests
Hardcore.
without you hearing every word we say. We'll be right back.
welcome back. We went to the motherland, or is it the fatherland? I always get confused with
Motherland.
that.
Motherland.
The family went to the family land. In terms of connecting with these two young, bright, articulate African.
Christopher is an attorney at law.
Yes.
Over 10 years experience at the bar.
I picked that up.
Yeah, came here to do, as you heard him say.
Do a master's.
Do a master's and has not left us yet.
And he looked
to
like
make a worker charm.
And he fell in love with Jamaica. Look like he fell in love with a Jamaican lady too.
No, I don't think so. I think he'd be organizing to have his Nigerian lady join him here.
Okay, all right.
If it comes to that, it would be that way.
And then there's
Augustine.
Who is the IT.
Chuku something.
Chuku.
You can just call him Chuku.
Chuku. I like the names.
To think, Percy, we would have had names. Does it sadden you somewhat? What's being lost?
It's true. We've lost, but no. I was thinking, but I have thought too with the naming of my children in terms of their names mean something. When we named them, it was prophetic in terms of what we heard God saying in terms of their destiny and their personality, and it's come to pass in regards to them. But it's interesting. It's interesting. So I told you about the two young ladies that my wife has adopted, two African Nigerians, Igbo tribe. Igbo tribe.
So I was going through the papers and I saw that Heart has waived registration fees for some things, or maybe all things.
No, they did. Sure. Remember that was a part of the budget.
The
budget.
I just thought when I asked whether there was a registration fee for the law college, and the response that I got, namely, there is a fee, it's $3,000. If you cannot afford the fee, it is not a bar to being registered and coming on board, because the overall objective is to ensure that no one is left behind.
That's the whole point.
All those desiring to have an education, learn a skill in this area, there's a place for you. I wanted Dr. Brown to be a part of the interview, the founder and president of the college. She was not able to make it. She said, sent her two soldiers. But I can tell you from personal experience that the culture, what you heard expressed here, is very much a reflection of the heart of this Jamaican
lady.
Yes, very much. I mean, when I hear her speak of her interest and the dream she had of launching this college and how she came to get it started and the effort that she went through to keep it going during pandemic time when everything shut down, amazing. It's a story that I hope
she'll come to share with us.
We'll be able to share.
One resilient Jamaican woman.
Yeah. As
we celebrate our women today.
Yeah.
And we do not speak unkindly of them in any way.
In any way.
It's really been, till these last 2-3 weeks have been just going helter-skelter all over the place in terms of the issues that have come to the fore. And for me, I am glad.
How would you wrap it up?
I am glad. We celebrated 60 years of independence. We have launched a constitutional reform agenda, I call it,
yes.
which to my own mind...
More than an agenda, really, because the process is underway.
No, but what I'm saying,
Are you talking about us?
No, not us.
Jamaica. Jamaica, yes.
We've been pushing for the last 2 years in terms of needing to relook at this constitution to fix it. But then it was launched by the government. I don't know if it's because what they've been hearing in the body politic, but I think they had the wrong motivation in mind. When they launch something, but it really is to serve a purpose which is not
of God.
Not of God. And that is why it's gotten stuck, because remember, there's a timeline, to get Parliament to do a vote and to do some other things. And I think that has passed. Because there were some other motivations in terms of doing it. And that has been revealed. But as we have said, constitutional reform need to be meaningful, need to have first an education,
Public
education about what the present constitution is. Because how you going to reform or get something you don't know what exists and say, I don't want that.
Yes.
I don't want that. This is what we want, and to get the input of every Jamaican in regards to it. And that has highlighted how our covenant, how this constitutional arrangement is, that doesn't really favor the ordinary Jamaican. Is that being too harsh?
No, you know my view on it. So it's a pleasure to listen to you expressing yourself as you're doing.
It's being too harsh because, come to the light, all right? Corruption is a challenge in our country. And then we've seen what has happened with the governmental side going after the Integrity Commission in a way that says...
And then finding themselves trapped.
Yeah.
They finally riled up the commission to do more of the work that they're there to do.
Yeah, right. So, and then what has happened recently with the DPP, and that in itself has raised other issues as to how do we see ourselves? How do we respond in a positive way, in a way that is wise, in terms of some things that are underneath our skin that we're not too happy about. And how do we respond in a civil way? And then it has highlighted the fact that we have not been very consistent in terms of how we have applied measures across the board. And so it has been a very wonderful 2-3 weeks in terms of the issues that have come to the fore. I'm saying hallelujah.
Yes.
I'm saying hallelujah. Come on.
You stir the pot, it's boiling nicely.
Yes.
And you're looking forward to a good meal.
Yes. And the real resolution in regards to it.
I join you in celebrating it, but it's no time to lay down arms. It's time instead to redouble our efforts
to push.
And just to make sure we're pushing in the right direction.
Yeah.
We're at the end of the morning's work. Are we, Mr. Producer? Yes, we're almost at the end of the morning's work. Let me just say a very big thank you to the Ligani Club. You know, we're here as guests of the club. The restaurant here, JD's Urban Pub, take care of us, all of our watering and, food and beverage requirements while we're here. Just want to express a really heartfelt thank you for the hospitality. Some of the persons who serve us have actually become friends.
Yeah, very good friends.
And to the club, especially during this holiday season, you're looking for a place that is quiet with great parking. The Ligani Club is a good choice for you. There is a restaurant in-house that caters every kind of local fare, delightfully done, I might add. This morning I'm seeing out there, they also have a selection of fruit and pastries on the buffet. And we have a full house now because during the holidays.
Yes, a lot of Jamaicans have come home for the emancipendent holiday. Yeah. And as we race towards, on Sunday, it is when this August 6th, when the Union Jack was lowered. Over 61 years ago.
Not over 61. 61 years
61
ago.
years ago, we say we are independent, but we need to be emancipated in our minds. In terms of really now apportioning, taking hold of what independence really means for not some Jamaicans, but for all Jamaicans. So we wish for you, I wish for you, a great Independence Day, and then Monday is a holiday. It's a declared holiday, so it's a long weekend.
A long weekend.
And our weekend is even longer because our weekend begins today because so it is Thursday, so Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
To consider our ways. Pastor, I'm going to ask you to return to the microphone and just pronounce a blessing. But for my own part, what do I wish for the Morning Connection listeners this Independence? I just want you to have a thought-filled holiday. Think plenty, think deep, think hard. Stir up all of the things that you like to push aside when you're busy and out there in the field, and examine who you are. Look at the issues of identity that we've been talking about all year. Look at the issues of governance that we've been talking about all year. I just want Jamaicans to be more thoughtful about who we are and what we are doing. And having given it some great whole leap of thinking, let's choose how we're going to act on the things. You know, I am not one to hear something, to understand something, to believe in something, and it doesn't change my behavior or my conduct. And we don't want to be those who hear things and just move on as if nothing was said or done. When you believe in something, make sure that it changes how you behave towards your family, your friends, your nation. That's my wish, that this independence will be one in which people sit down and really think, is this who we are? Are we really accepting this? Are we going to just sit back and let it go like that? Have those conversations with yourself, with your children, with your family. Our integrity as a nation is on the line. And if your integrity as a nation is on the line, it means that your integrity as individuals is also on the line. Who are we but a tribe of people who grew too big for one house? That's what a nation is. One family that has exceeded the size of the rooms on the one plot of land. So we're all over Jamaica,
all over the world,
manifesting in different ways. Can we come into an agreement concerning who we are? And that's how the covenant, that's how the Constitution will be changed to reflect the highest expression of ourselves. Your blessing, Pastor Percival.
For the blessing, I think we're going to get a surprise on the 6th of August. The Sunshine Girls,
oh, I know,
I believe, are going to be playing.
I did not believe you were referring to the second coming of Christ. Maybe there's some sporting event.
You know, you can't leave it out. It would be a wonderful,
Not only that, you know, you put it before the blessing.
Yes, but that's why the blessing is the last, which is a major thing.
Well, I would have figured that the blessing is the first.
No, man. Blessing covers
and
everything.
Because of the blessing, we'll get a surprise.
You know.
Anyway, as you see fit.
Yeah, man. Father, we are so grateful that you have, in your sovereignty, created and founded Jamaica, a land with so much promise and so much potential. We have achieved it in part, but even on this, our 61st anniversary of independence, we declare, Lord, that we shall move forward as one nation, under God, increasing in beauty, in fellowship, in prosperity for all Jamaicans. And indeed, we come against every evil force that is seeking to destroy the fabric of our nation. We give you thanks. Father, we give you praise so that indeed we will flourish as Jamaicans. We will indeed expand in every sphere of influence that we are into as Jamaicans, not only here abroad, but across the world, that indeed we will return to the place of fearing God, of serving you, of loving every Jamaican as we love ourselves. Bless this land even now we pray. Bless our leaders, we ask. Give them the necessary wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as they chart a new course for a new Jamaica that is indeed emerging out of everything that we see happening.
Amen. To stop because we're running out of airtime.
Blessings.
Amen.
Blessings.
It's beautiful.
Blessings.
All right. Thank you, Lloydie, back in studio. Mr. Producer right here. And those on air and online. Taki, we feel you. Have a great Emancipendence weekend. He says, one love to all of you. Blessings.